Hello and welcome back to Mom Life Rewritten, where we are unlearning the burnout and rewriting the story on mom life. Real talk for real moms just like you. Today, I want to talk about decluttering your life without getting overwhelmed. This is a topic I talk about a lot. I have an upcoming workshop on it, so stay tuned on that. But I just want to talk about clutter in your life. So often when we think about clutter, we think about physical clutter, right? Stuff, all the junk taking up space in our life. But what I want to talk about is all the other clutter that is taking up space in your life. It's not just your home, it's your mind, your schedule, your energy, all those things. And as a mom, we know we have things going on all the time, and how important it is to just get rid of that clutter so that we can focus on the things that really matter. So, I'm going to start with just talking about why decluttering your life matters. It isn't just about, like I said, it isn't just about physical stuff. It's also about the peace of mind. It's about having that calm. It's about not having additional stuff weigh on you. I read a statistic the other day that said something about if we were to eliminate clutter from our house, it would get rid of like 40% of the housework. And I'm like, yep, that makes a lot of sense. Our house is very like, I don't try to be a minimalist, but we're very minimalistic here in the sense of like we don't have stuff on our counters. We don't um have stuff sitting all out, like this light above my head. Anyways, and we're constantly getting rid of stuff. It just makes keeping up on keeping the house clean and everything that much easier. Um And really, when we think about clutter, it's really just anything taking up space in your life that doesn't give you something back that's worth your time or your energy. And so I just want to talk about a few other types of clutter in our life besides the physical stuff, right? We know the physical stuff is there. Um, I own a home organizing business, so I know all about people's clutter. And I always tell people, like, don't, my biggest thing people will say to me is, I'm so embarrassed. Like, I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, don't be embarrassed. We're moms, right? We don't have the time always to keep on top of stuff. But when we clear the clutter, especially the other types of clutter, it's easier to stay on top of that physical clutter. So, a couple of the other types of clutter I just want to talk about today. Just clutter, types of clutter to let go of, right? One of the first ones is mental clutter, the stuff that is just constantly clouding up our mind, overthinking, the constant to-do list, setting unrealistic expectations for ourselves. I know I'm not alone there. As moms, and just the things that weigh us down. My husband and I will have talks often about just that whole mental load of motherhood, and I love my husband dearly, and he is very, involved, he's very hands-on, very helpful with the kids and the house and all the things, but there's still so much as a mom that, like, if you were to ask my husband, like, what time is the kids' school day, he wouldn't have a clue. He wouldn't have a clue because I just know it, so he doesn't have to know it, and that's life, and so, honestly, just, if you know me or as you listen to this, I've been on a journey over these past few years after becoming a mom of three and now running three businesses, and my life is very busy and all those things. Um, my mission is just to help moms not be big balls of stress all the time and to really just enjoy these days. My oldest just graduated college and my little is just finishing kindergarten this week. And so I really have the perspective of how fast time goes. We all know time goes fast. The older we get, the faster it goes, but just really being a present mom and enjoying the mom moments and all those things. So back to the mental clutter. One big thing that I do and that I talk to clients about too is really just doing a brain dump. Like us as moms, you see those memes of like, a mom at any given time has 2,472 tabs open in her brain. And you're like, yep, that's true, right? Um, and so doing a brain dump, which is literally sitting down at a desk, getting a piece of paper and taking everything that's on your brain and putting it on paper. You can't see my desk right now, even though I'm sitting here, but I'm like desk calendar, post-it notes, list, schedule, all sorts of things because if it's down in front of me, I don't have to like mentally remember it all the time. And so just doing that. A really great time to do it is at night. Keeping a pad of paper and a pen next to your bed when things are running through your mind and you're like, I don't. There's too much, right? Like I don't know if you're like me, but that's when I do my best thinking when I lay down. You're like, oh dear Lord, now it's all gonna excuse me, all gonna go through my mind. So, anyways, writing it all down and then looking at the list and really thinking, okay, like what needs to be done? What needs to be done right away? What can wait? What can I delegate? Ask for help for? Um, another big thing, I write a to-do list every day. I spell it out so I know what I want to get done. I always kind of make a top three, like these are the three things I have to get done. Here's the things I'd like to. If I get to them, great. If not, they move till tomorrow or the next day or whenever I have time. But just clearing that mental clutter and that whole setting realistic expectations as a mom, I think is a huge thing too, right? It is about knowing that we can't do it all and that we also need to stop comparing ourselves to Instagram lives of moms that look like they have it all together. I promise you they don't. And just doing what works for you too. I'm a firm believer in like each mom journey is different and you have to do what works for you. The second one is time clutter. It's really about, overscheduled days, saying yes to things that don't serve you. Um, just really looking at how you're spending your time. We could talk about mindless scrolling on your phone, which isn't always horrible. I think there's a time and a place for that. But, um, you know, people will say to me like, I don't even have enough time for that. You're like, You probably don't, but then if you look, you're like, how long did you sit and scroll through Facebook and Instagram today?" They're like, probably longer than I would have liked to." And so just really thinking about, how you spend your time. One thing for me is when my oldest was little, we were very go, go, go. We did something every single day. It was just her and I. Our life was easy like that. We could. And when I had my younger two, and now a husband in the picture and there being 5 of us and, it not just being my daughter and I had to really adjust to the fact that I couldn't schedule something every single night. And with running 3 businesses and one of them being a craft business where sometimes orders come up and I need to try to get them made and ready for the customer soon, I have learned that I need to schedule time into my life where it's what I call white space, where I actually have days where I'm like, "Oh, I don't have anything on the calendar tonight. I can actually sit home and craft, or I can actually take a moment and do that project." And so really just looking at your schedule and what you're saying yes to, and also, that whole saying yes to things that don't serve you anymore. One of my coaching clients that I talked to, um, when I was working with her, one of the things was, she was volunteering for something that when she had signed up for it years ago, she really enjoyed, but now she had 2 little kids and, kind of dreaded this volunteer thing, and we just really talked through and, one of her big things was like, "You just give me permission to to say no to these things," and, like, right now maybe just isn't the time of your life to add on volunteer events, and sure, like, some of us have time to volunteer and some of us in this time of life don't, and just knowing what you have time and capacity for and also being okay saying no to things. It's okay. It's hard. I don't like missing out on stuff. I'm super extroverted. I love being with people, um, but, it's just important to know what to say yes to, know what to say no to, and all those things. So, my challenge for you is find one thing this week that you can say no to or that you can delegate and ask for help. Firm believer in asking for help. It took me a long time to get there. I've been a mom for 22 years and been with my husband for 14 years, and it really hasn't been until recently. And I think probably after our third game, life got more chaotic, and it's when I figured out like I really need to ask for help. But I'm like, wait a second, we both work full time. We're both these kids' parents. This is both of our house. Like we should be splitting things much more evenly. And a lot of the reason I just did things was because I like to do them. Uh, because I know they get done my way. But I've learned with life that just because my husband does it differently doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means it's different, but it still gets done. One of the big things is I handed off putting away laundry to him. And it's an amazing thing because my 6-year-old daughter often she's like, "Mom, why are my pajamas in my shirt drawer?" I'm like, "Shh." Like, Dad did it, but it's okay. He's doing it and he's learning still and I don't have to do it. So it saves time and he's helping very willingly and all those things. So ask for help. Um and then the third one is just energy clutter, right? Just think of the different things that take up your energy, relationships, habits, certain environments, just stuff that drains you. Um, I've always been the type of person that is very conscious of who I surround myself with. But the older I get, even more I am about this. I want to surround myself with people that I love, people that build me up, people that energize me, support me, cheer me on, and that I can do the same thing for them. And I think that's so important. I think there's so many friendships that we've had for a long time that it's hard sometimes to walk away because there's a history. But I also think that there's friendships that sometimes just don't serve you anymore, and it's okay. And it doesn't always mean that you have to be like, I'm totally done. But I think that there's also that um, moment where you can say, I'm gonna step back from this. Like, I always tell my daughter, who's now is just through college, but like in high school and stuff, I said, the great part of being an adult is that you really have to be conscious of who you're friends with because it takes effort. It's not like when you're little and you're in school and you see your friends every day and you get to hang out and play at recess. I said as an adult, you have to put the effort into to make the dinner plans or, plan a date night with them or those things. Um, and so I think there's something great about that because for me, it's just, friends are super important to me. I love pouring into my friends, but I pour into the ones that I love and that give me something back. And there's just that mutual thing. And I think it's um, so important. Again, habits, environment, just things that drain you. Again, it's called clearing the clutter. My big stance on all this is when we get rid of the unnecessary overwhelm, which a lot of times is clutter, when we get rid of the unnecessary overwhelm, we're better able to deal with the overwhelm that comes in when it does. When, I always say to people, like, thank God we are through the stage of toddler years, but think toddler years, right? When you have a toddler and they have a meltdown. Would it be easier dealing with a toddler meltdown when you also know you have 4 loads of laundry and a sink full of dishes and a messy toy room? Or would it be easier dealing with a toddler meltdown when laundry is done, dishes are done, and everything's cleaned up because you've dealt with it? You've cleared out the unnecessary clutter. You've created systems and habits that can help you stay on top of those things. And all you have to deal with at that moment is that toddler meltdown. And so it just is what I'm all about. It's just clearing that clutter from your life. Other thing I'd like to say is start small. Feeling overwhelmed is normal. It's part of motherhood. There's always going to be overwhelm, but decide on one thing today that you're going to do. You don't need to fix everything today. You need to just start small, make a change one thing, and build upon that and see what's to come. Again, if this all resonates with you, I'd love to see you in my upcoming workshop, Declutter Your Life. 3 easy ways to declutter your life without getting overwhelmed. It's totally free. We will talk more in depth about these things. It is on Tuesday, June 10th at 11 a.m. Central. Um, I will drop a link in the notes for this today, but I can't wait to see you there. And as always, follow me on social media at Simply Sally Coaching. You can also check out Simply Sally Organizing and Simply Sally Creations. And my website, simplysallyco.com, will also be in the notes. A whole bunch of free resources there. And would just love to hear from you. Drop me a message, comment on this, share with a friend. I look forward to hearing from you.